Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, I have done some upgrades to the RC car. And this is my race car. So I've done a lot of upgrades to it since the last video that we did. If you look, we're right here at the front end of my car right now. I did replace the bulkhead. I do have an RPM bulkhead on there. If you notice how I have my adjustable shock here, I've got it all the way down. Dirt racing is completely different than asphalt racing or road course racing. Sorry. There's been a little major things that I've done. The tires that I have on this is Sprinter tires. They're J Concept Sprinter tires. Pretty much that's what we run at the track that I race at. Another thing that I've done is I've changed the shock oils, y'all. In the whole car, I've changed the shock oils. And basically what I'm doing, and it's really no secret, everybody pretty much tells everybody what they run for oils. And so I've got 30 pounds in this one. I'm running 40 in the rear. So yeah, I did get me a car stand. So in one of my shorts, somebody told me to get a car stand. I've got that. Does help, by the way, truly. I have done a bunch of upgrades to it. Let me get it right here. Okay. I put an aluminum steer wheel crank on it. Makes it a lot easier. It's smoother for it to be steering the whole 9 yards. I did do something else, and it was pointed out to me that my rear A-arms on my car, okay, the rear A-arms, they were for rustlers. Rustler is the only one that is different. Bandit and Slashes run smaller A-arms in the rear. They're shorter, and I can definitely tell the difference. My rear tires tuck more underneath my body now, and it does make a lot of difference, especially for handling. Springs. I told you I couldn't remember what the name of the company of the springs were. They're Traxxas, y'all. These come from Traxxas. Just different compounds, same colors, green and purple. They help the car squat a little bit more in the back. The rear gear, still metal rear gear. This is the 4883 rear gear. You get that from Amazon's where I got mine. You can probably pick up the same thing. I did away with the clutch. I have a clutch eliminator in there. Trust me, if you're going to be racing on asphalt, if you're doing any type of oval racing, asphalt or dirt, get you a clutch eliminator. You can probably use it on off-road, helps you out a little bit more. I don't really see where though, because you're not really, other than maybe hitting the jumps. But other than that, upgraded my drive shafts. I went with heavy duty drive shafts back here. I recommend going heavy duty for one simple reason behind it. Stock Traxxas drive shafts, after a while, they tend to flare out really bad, lose their shapes, and then they start breaking down and slipping and everything else. So I recommend going down and getting the heavy duty drive shafts. I do recommend that. Also, if you're not running the Traxxas ESC, I recommend you zip tie your ESC down. I found this out the hard way in one of the races. My ESC literally popped off. That sticky tape and stuff doesn't work worth a flip. So I do recommend you zip tie your ESC. Trust me, I learned that the hard way. I had a question on my transponder, what type I actually use, and I use a Milapse. Pretty much that's the standard for everybody. The RC Tillybold uses Milapse. Pretty much every track running around uses Milapse, so that's what I got. I need to get a new holder. I'd rather have it. I cut it down because I had the Rustler and there wasn't no place for it to really attach. So I got to get me a new holder for it. They're fairly cheap. Radio transmitter. This is the type I use. It's a if you can see that, it's a TTX 300 from Tactic. It's a good radio. If you can find one, I don't know if they're making them anymore, but it's a really good radio, and it works well. I didn't notice that until now, but hey, find a lot of stuff in sunlight. You didn't notice, but it is a wireless antenna. That's one thing I like about it. I don't have to worry about an antenna getting wrapped up in my coils on my spring, screwing things up, or slipping down on my tires and then getting ripped off. So that's one thing. I did zip tie the steering servo and Milapse to the side. I recommend doing that. As you can tell, that's short enough. I ain't got to worry about them. Things are long, so zip tying it up works perfect. Not really much of anything different I have done to the motor wise. My pinion gear, I did go down. This is a 21 pitch on my pinion gear, or a 21 on my pinion. So the pinion gear right here is my pinion gear is a 21, and just in case you didn't see it a while ago, I might have had it up a little bit, up close too much. Clutch eliminator, right there it is. Basically all a clutch eliminator does, if you don't know, is it keeps it from slipping. After a while, the clutch pads wear out, and then when you're laying the hammer down on the motor, your main transmission gear right here will start slipping. That's all the clutch eliminator does away with that. So it's kind of like running direct drive, basically. And trust me, you can tell the difference. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull it up and y'all can see what it actually does. No slipping at all. I mean, just straight up. It's making that noise right now due to the fact that, well, it's in the air. And this table's uneven. A lot. I have done some things to my car body itself. Let me get this out of the way here. I will move the chassis, but that's pretty much the chassis there. Just some upgrades on my steering. Like I say, I recommend going to the aluminum bell crank. It's smoother, it's better than stock, and it really does help your steering out a whole lot more. But on the body, in the short video where I said I got drove it directly in, head on into the wall, yeah, that's what happened. I literally got drove head on into the wall. It scuffed the snot out of it. I had to put tape in there to make it look better. One of my biggest problems I've got when I'm racing this car is I'm not getting enough downforce on the back end of my car. So I went down it and I got some Lexan and I made a spoiler. Now here's the kicker thing. A lot of them spoilers are about yay tall. Some of them seen them that tall. Really and truthfully, if you're going to make a spoiler, you don't have to make it really tall. I mean, this is going to work perfectly. It's just enough to squat it down enough where, you know, you got traction on the back. And that's pretty much it. As you can tell, my car does tend to change colors in the sunlight. You can see some of that purple and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool when you're out there racing on the track. But yeah, and I took a lot of the decals off of this car. I know in some of my videos you've seen where it was decals. Decals add a lot of weight to, especially in the center on both sides. So I mostly moved them to the back to help get more downforce on the rear tires. But yeah, decals pretty much weighed the car down. So if you got a bunch on the front, in the middle, it's gonna throw your shift, you know, it's gonna shift your weight around, and you really don't realize that until you're actually out there racing. Yeah, it makes the car look good, but in reality it also can hurt you. You know, I want a little bit downforce on the front, but we'll bring it all back up here again. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's my car. I did get a question about my front protector. Now, how I actually built this is I had a couple holes in the Rustler front bumper that I was using for the Rustler when I was running a Camaro body, and I had clip post right here, and all I've done is I've got a bolt that goes all the way through, and I got a rubber washer coming off the main bumper underneath the little plastic, another rubber washer on top, and then the nut. And this actually gives it a little bit of cushioning. So there's y'all an opportunity on how to make a bumper guard. Instead of using the big foam pad that a lot of guys will, I just use pieces of the actual car body. Other than that, I am sweating to death. It's getting close to almost 100 degrees here in Oklahoma. With the heat index is going to get kind of bad. But until next time, if I forget to mention anything, oh yes, there is one thing before I am. Folks, I'm going to specify this and take my heated warning. Servo protectors. This is a steering servo protector. Go buy about 5 or 6 of these things, because you never know when one's going to pop out. If they pop out, it makes your steering suck. So always have backups. Another thing I've done is I've replaced the kingpins, replaced the bearings. When I got the new shaft for the new drive shaft, it came with a new everything else. When I pulled these off, they were bent. My old ones were bent, and my bearings were trying to lock up. So yeah, I recommend you go out and get new kingpins and stuff like that. My steering knuckles and steering casters, you know, allows me to, God, I can't remember the name of them, but they're all RPM. People was wondering about that. Pretty much everything on my car is RPM except for the transmission cover. It's stock Traxxas. Same way with the rear bumper here, it's RPM. I'm eventually gonna get, well, I've got a slipper clutch, or not a slipper clutch, but a sealed differential on this. It comes stock with this transmission, or this whole deal's, it came stock with it, because this is the newer version of the Slash transmission and differential combo, and they started using the sealed diff, so it came with it. And it, as you can tell, my rear end is really free, and that does help. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, a little bit more in depth of my actual car. But until next time, y'all be good, be safe, enjoy what life has to offer you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.